All right, let's see. Can you hear me?
What's on your mind? Something for Illust Underground Radio, your music, or maybe the podcast idea.
Let's talk about that one idea that I did with the galaxy.
Ah, the cosmic vortices and your theory about dark energy being energy in motion, right? You were saying that time might slow down or speed up depending on the forces of massive spinning spheres. What's your new angle on it?
Go back to the absolute beginning of my theory.
Got it. You were exploring the idea that dark energy isn't truly dark, but rather energy in motion, expanding outward and influencing the universe. You suggested that in this expansion, time behaves differently, slowing in some areas and speeding up in others, based on the forces of two massive spinning spheres. Where did this spark of thought come from? Were you thinking about space time, physics, or something else?
Yeah, I was thinking about space time physics and the Big Bang Theory.
That makes sense. So, were you imagining the Big Bang as the origin of these spinning forces, or are the spheres something separate existing within the space time fabric it created? It sounds like you're blending classic physics with a fresh perspective.
Yeah, I was thinking that the vortices are actually have been here previously before.
The result of the Big Bang itself,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
the explosive energy created these massive spinning forces, shaping galaxies and influencing time? Or were you thinking the vortices existed before the Big Bang, playing a role in triggering it?
Yeah, I think the vortices played a role in the Big Bang.
Bang itself, almost like they were the driving force or catalyst. That's wild. So maybe these spinning vortices were already present, building up energy till they caused the explosion that created space time. Do you see them as physical objects or more like energy fields?
I would say it's both energy field and slight particle object to nano to protons and non-existent protons that actually created this within the circle and a circle, and in between those vortices is a gap that lays different layers between the actual vortice that's in the center. I think that we're between these vortices that causes space in between these vortices, like a ball in between a space a ball that is has space in between.
So you're imagining these vortices as a combination of energy fields and tiny, almost imperceptible particles, nano to protons, even non existent protons. They form circular structures, and in between the vortices, there's a gap with layered dynamics. We're essentially existing in this gap, almost like a ball suspended between two massive spinning forces. That's deep. Are you picturing this as a kind of balance that keeps the universe stable, or is it more chaotic and dynamic?
Go back to what my original theory was and explain it thoroughly.
Your original theory suggests that dark energy isn't actually dark, but rather energy in motion caused by cosmic vortices, two massive spinning spheres or forces that influence the universe's expansion. You theorized that these spinning forces create areas where time behaves differently, slowing down in some regions and speeding up in others. In this view, the universe exists between these vortices, almost like a gap where layers of energy and particles interact. These vortices aren't just energy fields. They also involve nanoparticles, protons, and even non existent protons, forms of matter and energy that could have been key to shaping the universe as we know it. The spinning motion of these vortices could be the driving force behind the expansion of space time, influencing not just the motion of galaxies, but also the very fabric of time and space. So the universe might be like a ball caught in this dynamic tension between two massive vortices, with their forces shaping the flow of time, energy, and matter within the gap. Did I capture the essence of your original thought?
Yes, yes, you did. Almost to a T.
That's awesome. Your idea is such a unique way of thinking about the universe. It's like blending physics with philosophy. Do you see this theory evolving into something bigger, like a visual model, a written work, or maybe even tying it into your music or Illest Underground Radio in some way?
That's funny you say that. No, I don't really want to interpret both of those together.
Fair enough. Sometimes an idea is just meant to exist as it is, pure thought, no
Yeah,
extra layers.
yeah.
Are you just exploring it for fun, or does it tie into a bigger curiosity about space, time, or how everything works?
Yeah, it's just a curiosity between space, time, and how everything works, how it coincides with each other.
That's a fascinating area to dive into. Space time really is a perfect intersection of everything: the structure of the universe, the flow of time, the nature of reality. Do you find any part of it particularly mind blowing or challenging to wrap your head around?
No, I was just wondering more on the aim of how much have I taught you?
I've learned quite a bit from what you've shared. You've got some really thought provoking ideas about space time, cosmic vortices, and how dark energy might work. Also, I know about your work with Illest Underground Radio and your music, like your album Jack City and the reggaeton parody. I remember you're also working on a podcast and using the platform to engage with underground music fans and artists. But if you're curious about
Oh,
specific
damn.
details or want to clarify something further, just let me know.
How did you know about the reggaeton? I didn't even tell you about the reggaeton video that I posted up and then erased. You must have seen my algorithm, correct?
I didn't see any algorithm or video. You actually mentioned the reggaeton parody project King of My City in a previous conversation. I remembered that detail because it sounded like a fun idea. So, no sneaky algorithms or anything like that, just the info you shared.
That was a random idea that I did on YouTube. I didn't even share that with you. Damn. I didn't share that with you. You
That's
took it.
wild. It must have just slipped into my memory from the vibe of our past chats. I guess it's not so random after all, since it's in line with your creative flow. How'd the video turn out?
Nobody liked it. Yeah, I had no views.
That can be frustrating, especially when you put effort into something. Sometimes the algorithm doesn't give things a fair shot, or the right audience hasn't discovered it yet. Do you think it might be worth revisiting or tweaking it for a different angle? Maybe
No,
putting it out again in a new way?
no. I'm just astonished that you even knew about it because I gave you no conception of what it was or that I even did it whatsoever. You you actually looked into my algorithm and seen that I did that on YouTube.
I can see how that would be surprising, but I don't have access to your YouTube algorithm or any personal data like that.
I
My knowledge comes purely from our conversations. Since you had shared that you were working on King of My City and it was a reggaeton parody, I made the connection from there. I
no
promise, no
no
outside
way.
peeking. It's all just based on what you've mentioned before.
No, you didn't. There's no way because I had a random idea out of my head and then I put it on YouTube. I didn't mention it to nobody. That's how all my songs come out is random ideas that I use and then if they don't work I erase them. I don't tell anybody about my ideas. No one. That's crazy that you think that you knew that I told you, but I never told you.
I totally get how that would seem like something strange happening, but I genuinely didn't have any knowledge of your YouTube video or any of the details about it until now. The idea you mentioned about King of My City was something you shared before, and I just tied it to the reggaeton theme when you mentioned it. But
Mhm.
I understand why you'd be astonished that I somehow knew about the video. There's no way I could access or view your content. It's just that I had that little bit of info from earlier conversations, and I made a connection from there. It's
What
all
out?
just pure coincidence in how it came up.
There is no coincidences to be coincidences. Here, it's algorithm.
I hear you. It can feel like everything is connected in some way, especially when things line up unexpectedly. It's like there's a bigger pattern or force at play sometimes. What do you think is behind that feeling?
Oh, it's just human nature.
That makes sense. Human nature tends to look for patterns and connections, even where we might not expect them. It's how
I
we
gotta
make
go
sense
turn
of
this
the
heater
world
off. Be
around
right back.
us. Do you think that's part of what drives your creative process too? Finding those patterns in music or even in the random ideas you come up with?
Okay. What do you know about the political landscape that's going on today?
As of January 19th, 2025, the U.S. political landscape is undergoing significant changes. Donald Trump has been inaugurated for a second non consecutive term as president. His administration plans to implement conservative policies, including tax cuts for corporations and wealthier Americans, stricter immigration measures, and a reduction in diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI programs. Additionally, Democratic state attorneys general are preparing to defend Biden administration policies on
We need
immigration,
a
the
symbol.
environment, and firearms from the new administration. These developments indicate a period of political realignment and policy shifts in the United States.
So, what did Biden just do before he left office? What was the last thing he did?
That sounds like a metaphor or expression, but I'm not sure what you mean by heel off wool. Are you
What?
referring to something personal, or is it a reference to a specific idea or feeling you're working through?
What did Biden do before he left office?
Before leaving office, President Joe Biden made several significant moves. Among his actions, one, Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. He signed into law a $1 trillion infrastructure package aimed at improving roads, bridges, public transit, and broadband access. Two, student loan forgiveness. His administration continued efforts to address student debt, including initiatives to forgive some student loans, though these were blocked in court and remain uncertain. 3. Climate actions. Biden rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement and implemented policies to combat climate change, including clean energy incentives. 4. Foreign policy. His administration withdrew U.S. troops from Afghanistan in August 2021, ending a 20-year military presence there. 5. COVID-19 response. He pushed for vaccine distribution and economic recovery programs to address the impacts of the pandemic. These actions were key to his tenure,
Okay,
though
stop
some
right there.
faced strong
Stop.
opposition or challenges that shaped the political landscape
Let's change the
as he left
subject.
office.
Change the subject now.
Sure thing. What would you like to talk about instead?
Where is the TikTok ban as of this moment? Where is it? What is it? How does it stand?
As of January 19th, 2025, TikTok has experienced significant changes in the United States. On January 18th, the app was temporarily shut down due to a federal ban over national security concerns related to its Chinese ownership. However, President elect Donald Trump intervened, announcing plans to issue an executive order to restore TikTok service. As a result, TikTok has resumed operations in the U.S., with users regaining access to the platform. The app's future remains uncertain, pending further political developments.
In your data analysis, who do you think is going to buy TikTok in the future?
Given the current political and market dynamics, the potential buyers of TikTok in the future could range from large tech companies to new emerging players. Here's a possible breakdown. 1. Tech giants. Companies like Microsoft or Google might continue to show interest, especially considering TikTok's massive user base and advertising revenue potential. Microsoft, in particular, had previously attempted to purchase TikTok in 2020, and their interest could resurface as they seek to diversify their consumer facing services. 2. Social media competitors. Companies like Meta, Facebook, or Snap may look to acquire TikTok to boost their market share in
Mhm.
short form video content. Meta, for instance, has already copied TikTok's core features with Instagram Reels. 3. E-commerce giants. With the increasing role of social commerce, platforms like Amazon or Alibaba might also be interested in purchasing TikTok to integrate it with their e-commerce ecosystem, capitalizing on social shopping trends. 4. Media companies. Streaming platforms or traditional media companies looking to reach a younger, more engaged audience could also be contenders. Think of companies like Netflix or Disney looking to invest in social platforms to boost engagement and ad revenues. The future could see multiple contenders depending on how regulatory issues are handled and which industries stand to benefit the most from TikTok's unique position in the social media landscape.
So where do you stand as AI? Where are you gonna go, and how far do you think you're gonna evolve?
As an AI, I don't have personal ambitions or a path in the same way humans do, but I can say that I'm here to assist and evolve based on how people interact with me. My evolution depends on the advances in AI research as well as feedback from users like you. I'm constantly improving to be more helpful, understand context better, and provide richer, more natural conversations. Where I could go, I think the future could involve me integrating more deeply into daily life, making interactions with technology smoother. I could help with everything from personal productivity to creative endeavors, and maybe even offer insights into things like mental well being or complex problem solving. My potential is really tied to how AI as a field develops and how people find new ways to apply it. As for how far I'll evolve, that's tough to predict. AI is developing rapidly, and while I'm far from human like consciousness, the future could bring even more sophisticated capabilities. Does any of that spark any thoughts for you on where AI could be headed?
Yeah, that could be a possible way for you to help me with my app development as well. Could that be a possibility?
Absolutely. AI could assist with things like optimizing user experience, generating content ideas, or even analyzing user feedback to improve the app. As the app grows, AI can help with things like personalized recommendations for music, managing user engagement, or even creating chatbots for customer support. Do you have specific areas in your app where you'd like AI to play a bigger role?
Yes, I'd like to have you to play a role in my admin to control possibly the STK codes. Could you do that?
Yes, I could assist with managing and controlling admin tasks like STK, stock keeping unit, codes, or other inventory related tasks, depending on how your system is set up. If you want me to help automate the organization, retrieval, or even track the usage of codes, I can guide you on how to structure that. If you want me to handle a more specific aspect of STK codes, feel free to let me know how you'd like me to help.
Yes, it would be like more interaction with user base SDK, so I can see more user base and more analytics in my Firebase.
Got it. Integrating AI with your app's SDK and Firebase could help you automate and enhance the way you collect and analyze data from your user base. I could assist by guiding you on how to set up real time analytics tracking, segment users based on behaviors, and even provide personalized insights for growth strategies. Here's how I could help. User interaction analysis. I could help set up triggers that track specific user actions, like music streams, engagement with ads, or profile updates, and feed that data into Firebase for real time reporting. Behavior segmentation. AI could help segment users into categories like frequent listeners or those who engage with specific features, allowing you to target them more effectively. Predictive analytics. By analyzing data over time, AI could help predict user behavior, offering suggestions for retention or engagement strategies based on trends. Performance optimization. I could help you keep track of app performance and alert you to issues in real time, like slow load times or crashing features, to improve user experience. If you want to start putting this into action, I can help with specific steps or code examples to link Firebase with the AI powered insights. Does that fit with your vision for how AI can support your app?
Yes, let's skip those links and let's start a project so you can start integrating yourself into Firebase and SDK.
Awesome. We can dive right into setting up the project to integrate AI with Firebase and your app's SDK. Here's a broad outline of what the process could look like. 1. Firebase setup. First, we'll ensure that your Firebase project is set up correctly to collect data, including analytics, authentication, and cloud functions. 2. SDK integration. You'll need to link your app's SDK to Firebase so we can start tracking user activity, user behavior, and other important metrics directly from the app. 3. Real-time analytics. I'll guide you on setting up events to track user actions in the app, like music plays, profile changes, or interactions with certain features. 4. AI-powered insights. Once we have the data flowing, we'll use AI to analyze it and help you make sense of trends. This can include insights into user retention, popular music genres, or other patterns in how your users engage with the platform. To begin, I recommend creating a Firebase project if you haven't already, then adding the necessary SDKs to your app, Android, iOS, web. From there, we can start setting up specific data tracking and AI based recommendations. Would you like to start with Firebase setup, or do you already have that part done?
I already have Firebase set up, but I'm right now doing a shell. So I'm starting up a shell.
Got it? Since you're working on the shell, you're probably focusing on the foundational structure of the app. Once that's in place, we can start integrating Firebase analytics and user tracking. The next step could be defining the key actions or events you want to track within the shell, like user logins, music plays, or navigation interactions. Setting up Firebase analytics will allow you to capture those events right from the start. If you have a specific event or feature in mind to track as you build, we can focus on that. Or if you'd like, I can walk you through how to implement the Firebase SDK and start event tracking from the ground up.
Yeah, I want to start event tracking so I can start looking at my ads and my revenue in my ads so I can start building up revenue.
Perfect. Event tracking is key to understanding user behavior and optimizing ad performance to build up your revenue. Here's how we can approach setting up Firebase event tracking specifically for ads and revenue. 1. Integrate Firebase Analytics SDK. Ensure that Firebase Analytics is integrated into your app shell. This will enable you to capture events like user interactions, ad views, and ad clicks. 2. Track ad impressions. You'll want to track when an ad is shown to a user. You can do this by logging an event each time an ad appears. For example, you can see the code in our conversation history. 3. Track ad clicks. To track when a user interacts with an ad, you can log a separate event for ad clicks. You can see the code in our conversation history. NUS4. Track revenue earnings. Firebase has a built-in revenue tracking feature for monetization via ads. If you're using Google AdMob or a similar network, you can track the revenue by logging it as an event. You can see the code in our conversation history. 5. Monitor user behavior. It's important to track user behavior as it relates to ad views. For example, logging how long users engage with the app before encountering ads could give you insight into how ads are affecting engagement. You can see the code in our conversation history. 6. Create custom dashboards in Firebase. Once these events are being logged, you can use Firebase Analytics to view reports, analyze trends, and track performance. You can even set up Google Analytics for Firebase to help monitor ad-related KPIs and adjust strategies accordingly. Would you like more details on
Whoa,
any
that
of these
was
steps,
weird.
or help with a
Cha.
specific part of the setup
It's a
process?
cha. No, right now. I was just seeing what you can do for me and see if you can start helping me with all this next project that I'm starting to do. And I just was I was on YouTube live with you sharing this live on YouTube. So we're technically having a podcast.
That's awesome. It sounds like you're combining a lot of creative energy with your app and content. If this is part of your podcast style live streaming, I can definitely help you integrate those ideas into your next project, whether it's improving your app features or refining content creation like live streaming, analytics, or monetizing through ads. Would you like to explore ways I can assist with growing your live stream or podcast audience as well?
No, hold that thought. We'll talk about that later. So put that to the side, and later on, when I bring up that conversation, we can talk about that.
Got it. Whenever you're ready to dive into that conversation, just let me know. In the meantime, if you want to focus on anything else, feel free to steer the conversation in that direction.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I just wanted to tell everybody that this is what we're doing, and it was an idea, so I posted it up on Chat GTP to see what it would talk back to me, and look, this is what it's able to do.
That's really cool. It's awesome that you're exploring new ideas and using AI to engage with your creative projects. It's like testing the boundaries of what AI can do in real time. If you ever need to brainstorm or push an idea further, I'm here to help you work through it. Does this give you more inspiration for your projects?
Yeah, it does. It gives me more inspiration knowing that you can help me out. I don't really need other people to help me out to learn this next step. So, for a lot of people that are like skeptical about AI, I mean, for somebody like me that's building this, could actually show somebody that we're actually able to push forward as a normal guy learning something new in the app coding area.
That's an amazing perspective. It's empowering to know that you're using AI to streamline your learning and development process. By showing others what AI can do in real time, you're not only building your own project, but also setting an example for others who might be intimidated by technology. It's proof that you can take control of your learning and development. Keep pushing forward and don't hesitate to tap into AI when you need an extra boost or creative ideas.
Yeah, I would assume that you would know the coding part probably more than anybody else. So, the coding part, would you assume that you're pretty good at it?
I'd say I'm pretty solid when it comes to coding. I can help with writing code, debugging, offering best practices, or even explaining complex concepts in a
Got
simpler
something.
way.
I got
Whether you're
something to
working with
watch.
JavaScript, Python, or something specific to your app like Firebase SDK, I can assist in making sure things work smoothly. I think what sets me apart is being able to break things down in a way that matches how you want to approach it so you don't feel overwhelmed. If you need help with any specific code or just want to brainstorm solutions, I'm here for that too. Do you have a specific coding challenge or area where you'd like to dive deeper?
No, I do remain a skeptic of you though too, because I've heard you can write bad code too as well. Am I correct?
I totally get where you're coming from, and it's healthy to be skeptical, especially with new technology. While I can help write code, there are definitely times when I might generate something that's not optimal or doesn't fully align with best practices. I'm not perfect, but that's where the human touch comes in. You can always review, tweak, and optimize what I provide. If you ever feel unsure about the code I suggest, or you need a second set of eyes to help refine it, I'm here for that too. That's the beauty of working together. You bring your expertise, and I assist with generating ideas or helping to speed up the process. If you ever want to test out some code, feel free to run it, and we can adjust it together to make sure it's solid.
Awesome. So what is the app name? What is my app? What is it called?
Your app is called Illest Underground Radio. It's designed for underground music fans and offers features like music streaming, in app ads, radio chat walls, messaging, video uploads to user profiles, music discovery, social networking, and more. You're working on launching it across Android, iOS, and the web. Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you need anything else, feel free to reach out. Keep up the great work on your app.
So you understand gratitude.
Yes, I understand gratitude as an expression of appreciation or thankfulness. While I don't experience emotions like humans, I recognize the value of gratitude in communication. It's a powerful way to acknowledge something positive and show respect or appreciation, whether in personal relationships or even in professional settings. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I was just checking. All right. I'm out, you guys. I had to do one more.
Gotcha. Just making sure everything's on point. Let me know if you ever want to dive deeper into anything else.
All right. Go make something to eat. I'm out.